February 18th, Val sees trouble for Putin.
These are attacks. This looks kind of dangerous.
But world headlines suggest otherwise and a possible truce. Astrology says think again.
Third house. We're talking about vehicles with like bombs and local attacks that are coming. Something's being planned for sure.
3 weeks later, a shocked Moscow gets pummeled by a deadly drone attack. March 3rd, Val reviews Putin's upcoming troubles.
It's like a bomb or something, or it could be something of value that is being struck. So it's like Medusa strikes. This is like off with your head type of energy. It's also very secret because Uranus is in the 12th house. It's impossible to see this, but it is a revenge strike like you have not seen. It's a horrible failure.
Join us for more world predictions with Astrologer Val Evans tonight.
Thank you for joining me. We've got live updates from the press talking about Putin and Trump, the summit in Alaska. I want to know what is going on. Why were they spooked? What happened? Because the luncheon was canceled with Putin in Alaska, and seems as if there might have been some feathers ruffled. Got a couple of announcements real quick. Definitely, if you're a member, go to the Betrayal show that I just posted. It is super interesting when it comes to Kelly Clarkson's wedding chart. It would just say everything that would happen to her, including that her husband or her future ex-husband would die, but as well as cheating with a person who was on the staff. So it would be a worker. Also some predictions for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And also, if you haven't caught my notification in the community tab, 2 classes coming up, 4 different days. Here is the calendar. I've got the forensic astrology class looking for case clues in crime charts. Now, this is the time of the Trump-Putin meeting, and that was on the 15th at 3:30 p.m. in Alaska. Wow. The rising sign not only is in Scorpio, but you've got Black Moon Lilith within 1 degree of the rising sign. That Black Moon Lilith is super shady, can be cruel at times. Wild animal revenge is really what it says for this chart. Now, it does show that there are some positive things, but who is gaining from these positive aspects? If you think that we're done with this, oh, no. We are not done for many, many months. It's going to go back and forth like this for a while. There's going to be no winners for a while. Many, many losers, maybe short-term winners. Here is the chart. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look for this meeting chart between these 2 very Leo type characters. Powerful, wealthy men. And so we're going to look at the rising sign, which has that Black Moon Lilith at 15 degrees. Now, 15 degrees, if you know the degree theory, is the assassination degree. So that's in the background there. Not sure what that means. We may need to go to the cards for that. We're getting the assassination degree. Why are we getting that in this Putin-Trump meeting chart? It's an event chart. What is the assassination degree here? 9 of Cups, success, gold, fortune, and somebody is gaining here. I would say it's a yes card. Like, you got it. There's something where maybe, whoa, oh my God, this just flew out. Holy God. Death reversed. So maybe not able to change, getting stuck, and also possibly maybe an attempted assassination of some sort that we might be seeing. But good Lord, it does look like it's dangerous. 40 years since Ronald Reagan's address to the European Parliament. History for context. Thank you. Maureen's here. How you doing, Maureen? BML right there, and Mars opposite Saturn. This is something to be angry about. There's a lot of people who are angry. They want revenge. You've never seen such a quest or thirst for revenge, but it also represents betrayals. Okay. So there's that Black Moon Lilith. This is an evil chart. This is more evil. This is like Austin Powers villain evil. And we've got some blue lines going through, which means that maybe that strategy, which when you see a blue line pointed towards Black Moon Lilith, it's a ulterior motive, a strategy, something secretive that somebody's gaining and is able to gain. And then we have the opposite side of the chart, which is the partner. So, who are we going to assign as the president? Well, probably the rising sign, because we have asked Putin to come to Alaska, USA soil. So, and we also have a T square here. So, what I want to do before I get into that is I want to show you that the seventh house is Putin. So, seventh house and seventh house Lord. So, we're talking about Venus is Putin. And of course, it's in the eighth house of real estate. Real estate is a big, big theme in here. Not only trying to gain more real estate, but it could be a reflection on what might have happened way in the past that also had to do with real estate and Trump. Now, Venus represents the second house for this chart. So that means a lot of money. You put Jupiter with that, oh boy, that is a lot. Then Venus at 18 degrees. This can mean someone who's sick. Also can mean someone who has some pretty bad intentions. If you ever have 18 in your chart, you've got to see who that is in, say, your solar return, because you should not trust that person. And so there's all that money. Jupiter plus Venus. Oh my God, so much money. And Cancer is the homeland. So this could be someone's homeland. And with that north node right there, that's to gain. This is to gain real estate. And who's doing it and who is able to do it, who has that big plan right there. And so Putin's pretty pleased. It was a win for him, most definitely. When you see a blue triangle, that's your win for the year. So I'm going to go back to this one. And so we've got red lines and blue lines to Leo in the ninth house. Boy, do we have a lot of bullies in the press today. I don't know if you saw the meeting with Zelenskyy and Trump. Oh my God, did they bully Zelenskyy? So that's in the news here. And with the sun can also be the president. But Pluto is also the president because of the rising sign. So you can assign two planets. So in some cases here, and really in one case, you've got this T square and it's a stuck. And when you have a red line from the sun to Black Moon Lilith, this is somebody who, and you can see my illustrations there, it's not good. It is a cruel bully. So there's a cruel bully in the news. Maybe it's not Trump. Maybe it's not Putin, because ninth house is the press. The press are bullying, but it could also be someone who is the bullies who are far away. They might be in Alaska. They might be abroad. So with that red line, with the red T square, it's going to show the worst of that sign. And so the lion gets stuck and he roars. He is pissed. So there could be some behind the scenes where there's some people who are really upset. And also, notably, we found out that there were some documents that were left behind in a hotel. Neptunian theme. So Neptune represents a hotel. So this is coming in here with this chart. Now also with the square to Scorpio. Scorpio is, when you have that red line, someone's going to be betrayed. So the lunch was canceled. The things that were planned were just kind of cut off, maybe as a form of vengeance. Like, fine, if you're not going to talk to us about this, then forget it. The lunch is canceled. Could be a very small form of revenge there. But what's really interesting is with this chart, the chart where The world leaders meet, which would be Trump and Putin. Mercury's up here at the top, and it's somebody who's speaking. It's a press secretary. It's somebody who might be blonde, which is Leo. And you have an opposition to Trump. Trump, of course, being Pluto here, representing the person who starts the meeting. Now, boy, does Trump want to talk? God, he really wants to talk. And somebody is either stopping him or he is stopping Karoline. There is a back and forth, and the lion has roared, I believe, at Karoline. He might have snapped at her. Um, it there is a big. I'll bet you she wants to quit today because it's just a real show of strength, and it might even be scary. She was seen as looking ashen by some reporters, and it was reported on. So keep that in mind with Mercury. But remember, with the opposition anytime to Mercury, there is it's a clue of something that was stolen. There's a thief of some sort. So there's thievery that's happening here. I'm not sure what that is about, but we could probably talk it through here. Keeping in mind the ninth house, this is foreign lands, universities, the press. Of course, she's in the press. Trump wants to talk so much, but he can't because something happened that was unexpected. Now, this is really interesting. As part of this blue triangle, it's the mystic triangle. This is what's going right in the chart. But who's it going right for? Well, I'll tell you, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but the ability to gain information. And Karoline is on one side of this rectangle, meaning she was schooled today. She found out something. Now, what did she find out? Well, Saturn represents old. Neptune represents hotel. And I think, going back for a second, what does Mercury represent? The male. What does Saturn represent? Black, as in blackmail. And it's possible, I think Karoline might have seen some kind of discussion from Putin. She knows what's up right now. Maybe she didn't before. I don't know. But these are Trump hotels in this chart. I might have to put this in the members section later, but definitely Trump hotels. So what Trump wants to do is he wants to keep these hotels. And remember that Pluto represents a line of credit. It represents an investment. So it could be an investment in a hotel from a long time ago. And there have been reports that maybe Trump had used some money from abroad to build his fortune. Now, there's no proof of that, but it would definitely be explained in this chart. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is if we're going to look at this as the hotels, the old hotels, and also remember that Saturn and Neptune can also mean the Black Sea, which I think can come in a little bit later. Not sure if he has any hotels over there. Maybe Trump is trying to make a deal for hotels along the Black Sea, and maybe it's not going well because you could see this T square, which means it's a no. So the eighth house is real estate, and there's something that angers someone in this chart because of Mars on the other side of this. So the eighth house, somebody wants real estate and can't get it. We don't know who that is. Maybe we know who that is. Cancer is also representative of, like I said, the homeland, something domestic, as well as, just homes and houses. Looks like there's a possibility that Karoline was schooled in this behind the scenes meeting. Also keeping in mind the documents were left behind at a hotel. How could you see that? Mercury, documents, trine, Saturn and Neptune. Maybe she left them there. Fourth house is private. So private, and the fact that she did might have really upset Trump. If those documents hadn't gone public, maybe they would have been able to save face a little bit. Trump had hotel projects on the Black Sea. That makes sense. That makes sense. Maureen, are you asking a question? You got your hand up. Let's see. Jen, you are writing in from Wales. Keep forgetting you're in Wales. That's amazing. West Wales, I think, right? It's crazy that anyone would leave secret government documents. Isn't someone assigned to protect them? Well, somebody got into trouble. And hello, Nico. Okay. All right, let's do some cards about this meeting. What happened behind the scenes in this meeting that was upsetting to Trump officials behind the scenes? Well, of course, it would be Page of Pentacles. You knew we'd get a Pentacles card. So there's a little bit of money that might have been held back. And not that this has anything to do with it, but Putin was unable to refuel his plane in Alaska, so they had to pay cash because they wouldn't take their credit cards. Part of the sanction agreements. But this might have to do with a younger person and money. Clarification card on what was all of the grumbling behind the scenes that maybe some of the media representatives saw. Ooh, a family reverse. This is could be the Leo card, something where I keep thinking to myself there could have been some kind of veiled threat of some sort. And I really think that it might have been between Karoline and Putin. Something was Karoline feeling at all threatened in this meeting? Let's look. Four of Cups reversed. So maybe not. It is a female. Maybe trying to turn around all of the options available to her. And I mean, it's generally a positive card. Another card for Karoline. High Priestess. So I feel like maybe she is gaining some knowledge and her world is turned upside down. It's not really being seen too much except her facial expression. And wasn't the Page of Pentacles the card that kept repeatedly coming up in a previous reading on Trump? Yes, yes. So we're talking about maybe some money that is stuck in a pocket somewhere. And I don't know. I don't know. But it does have to do with some kind of maybe financial situation. So interesting that we would get that. It's all about money. So now I've got Zelensky's transit progress chart, and I'm going to show you, this is predictive in the sense that you can see when things are really hard and then when things get a little bit easier. So first of all, in Zelensky's chart, we want to look and see what the homeland for him is representative of. And the fourth house is in Libra. And so we want to look at Venus here. And Venus it's all tied up in the stellium. I would even include the sun with it, and opposing the North Node and even Pluto to some extent. So this is super difficult. It means your homeland is transforming you. It's like a birth. You don't want it. You don't want to give birth, but it's forcing you to. And there's some kind of very, very difficult transformation there. And check out Saturn here. Now, Saturn, this is how I get it. You're going to go to the transit and progressed tab if you look at your own transit and progressed chart. And when you see Saturn and it is near your sun or moon, it is an ouch. It can be very, very difficult if there are red lines running through it, squares, oppositions, even octiles. So Saturn is going back and forth here. And what is the sun? Well, Let's look at what the sun represents. Oh, that's right. It's the rising sign lord. It's the actual chart ruler. This is the most important planet for Zelenskyy. And he's got a lot of malefics conjunct or transiting through there. And so Saturn for the last few years has been going and transiting over the sun and makes you depressed, makes you feel dark, scared. Saturn is fear. The moon is your body, not knowing if you're going to make it. And so difficult for just people like you and me when we're trying to push forward. And with the retrogrades, which Saturn is in right now and has been since July 13th, what are we going to see? We're going to see repeats of what Zelenskyy was going through. And so all through the spring, it's going to be like doubled up a little bit. But he's going to be seeing how he could have done a little bit better. He's going to revise his strategy and maybe have more opportunities. Okay, so there's a bigger um, illustration there. And remember, Saturn is the black, Neptune is sea. So we've got the Black Sea running over up and down, and I'm sure he's got a lot of other things he'd like to do than think about his homeland. It's been a long time. He wants to wrap this up, but Saturn and Neptune are not allowing him. And also remember that Venus, which represents his homeland, the fourth house. Saturn hasn't even really transited close to it yet. So imagine as it eclipses, it looks difficult for Zelenskyy, not impossible. And so there's Ukraine, so much Black Sea there. This is once Saturn gets to November 27th. This is the last day of Saturn retrograde, which is hallelujah for a lot of us. He suddenly has a grand trine. This is really good. This is a big strategy that wins for him. It's not perfect because we've got some other things going on here. What do we have? Well, let's look at the homeland here. We've got a red line going through here. So we've got thieves, a lot of revenge. We've got messages that are very, very aggressive and vengeful. There is definitely betrayal here, but there is some kind of a win, you would think, around November 27th. Why? Because Saturn has moved back, but now Saturn is going to move forward again. So we're going to see the same type of thing. Oh, we'll probably see more summits. We'll see Zelenskyy coming back again to the White House over and over and over. Now, this is June 27th. Once Saturn moves forward, transits through Aries, and look at Zelenskyy's sun. It's in good shape, and Jupiter is trining it. So this is good. He's feeling a little bit better, but look at the Venus representing his home still, and with Black Moon Lilith. This is evil, evil, evil. Neptune is Russia. It's moving over. And what does Neptune like to do? It likes to really erase. It likes to just break something down, just like water does on anything. If you're cleaning something, you put water on it enough, it will dissipate. And that is what is happening here. It's like his home country is disappearing. And it's disappearing because of Black Moon Lilith there, which is very cruel, very, very cruel. My guess is that once Neptune transits forward, it's going to be a few years, he's going to try again to get some of that land back, but he is going to lose some land. He already has, but it's going to be emotional because of Neptune there. Neptune in Aries is losing your military. Military disappears. But this is also Russia too. So it's just a mad back and forth fight. In the next 2 years, can Zelenskyy be the victor? Can he be successful? It's going to be hard, but can he be successful? Okay. Queen of Swords. Maybe with the help of someone. That's good. And it looks like it's on the sea. So maybe something that has to do with the Navy. Um, Something that protects him. This is good. Can I get a qualifier card? 9 of Wands. Yeah, his partners from afar are going to help him. So it doesn't look perfect. It looks like he is going to maybe gain, lose, gain, back and forth again, but just such bloodshed. And it's a shame too. Oh, that's so interesting. Look at this. We got 2 females here. And God, that is so weird. Look at this. We've got Mercury, which represents 2. Venus represents females. 9th house, 2 foreign females. Aries could be redheads, could be Germans, could be a group of females, a group of spiritual females. So go figure. But they're trying to get rid of Russia. And we'll have to see who that plays out to be, but definitely looks like there's some female in 2 or more females in the mix that are pushing for this. So a narrative after maybe the next 12 months might be the women who were secretly behind the push to bring down Putin. That could be one of the headlines. That's what it says in this chart. So, and Jen, you said interesting cards I drew for Zelenskyy. 6 of Pentacles, hard repeated work, and 6 of Cups reverse, loss of his childhood dreams. Yeah, he's going to be upset. He's going to be crying. It's going to be very emotional, but I think he will be able to gain back again. It's almost like there might even have to be 2 different wars, one that follows this one. And Pernilla from Denmark, welcome. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm seeing here for him. That Neptune is really breaking down his homeland, and it is super, super difficult. You can see in June, you're going to see the 12th house, especially in your progress chart. You're going to see who your hidden enemies are. Hidden enemies up until maybe 2027, generally going to be Gemini. And of course, that could be Trump. But then the hidden enemies are going to be coming into Cancer. And then that's going to be the moon in the 11th. It looks like there's going to be some losses that the hidden enemies might be able to fight and win because of the trine here to Pluto. I think it could flip. I really do. It's going to be very difficult, though, for Zelenskyy. We'll have to look at his solar return another time. Unbelievable. The 9th house is the press. And this is today, okay? Mercury is someone in the press, Leo. And you can see that Zelenskyy on this day, squaring the sun, is being teased about what he's wearing. And the sun represents the rising sign, what you're wearing, what you look like. And they said, oh, he had such a perfect comeback to this idiot reporter. I shouldn't say that. But they said, oh, you wore a jacket today. And Zelenskyy responded with, you're still wearing the same suit. Now, the other thing, too, is that the North Node is transiting, it's moving clockwise. We're going to have to keep an eye on that and what it aspects, because it means to gain. That's what you want to see in your chart. You like to see the North Node sometimes. Sometimes it's difficult because it's something uncomfortable, but still you're supposed to gain from it, especially in your solar return chart for that year. Go to astrologywithval.as.me. And I hope you got something out of some of these charts today. I'm sure if I looked at it a little bit longer, I could even get more, but so much in that 9th house of press. Seems as if somebody wants a lot of revenge. I think there was a powerful leader here. My feeling is it's probably Trump that was shocked. You can kind of see that because of the 23 degrees, which is the Aquarius degree. Somebody was a little bit surprised. And what did it have to do with? Maybe something financial. There could have been a gut punch there on the way out. We'll have to see if we get a leak. I think we will, actually, because Mercury represents a reporter. It shows that somebody is hearing something and might say something. In the ninth house of newspapers, I think we might have a leak here. And of course, Pluto down here representing Trump, opposing the leaker. Oh, he's going to get bullied. So we're going to see that bullying of the leaker coming up probably in the next days or weeks. So we'll have to see who that is. Yes, Zelenskyy is an Aquarian. That's right. And you can tell that by his name, Sky, Skyy at the end of his last name. So way up high, the sky. Thanks, Jen and Jan and everyone else. And see you soon.